Are you working in an international team? Or do you have contact with people from other businesses in other countries? I really know how interesting it is to work together with people from different countries. When I started working, I started in a company who imported toys from Japan. And I always loved to talk with the Japanese colleagues, even though it was really a different communication. And what I've learned from all my stays abroad is that it is really good to learn from other cultures. I know that there are also differences in one country. So, for example, in Germany, people from the north are different to people from the south of Germany, and those from the west to the east, there are also differences. I don't want to talk about this today. Today, it's really about, let's say, it already starts with the greetings. How does a person from France or from Italy greets another person, or also from the Asian countries? I've been living in the US for some weeks, and also in France and in Italy for some time. And at this time, it was many years ago, I didn't have the impression that it was a difficulty because I wasn't thinking so much. I would say that I was just diving into the other culture and, yeah, kind of adapting quite easily. And later, when I continued working, I realized that sometimes, even though I knew part of the culture, I had some experiences where I thought, okay, that's really interesting. Even though I knew it and I had already had experienced it, it was kind of an interesting situation. So, for example, once after a workshop, a Spanish student approached me, and she had a question, and she was standing, let's say, about 30 centimeters away from me. And I felt a little bit, let's say, even awkward, even though I liked her. She was a great student. And at the same time, something inside me felt a little bit, I didn't feel comfortable. So what did I do? I moved backwards until I couldn't move any further because there was my desk. And she always kept the same distance of these 30 centimeters. And so we finished our call, and I gave her the advice that she wanted. And I went out of the room and I thought, oh, something's kind of strange here. And then I went to the copying machine, and suddenly I realized, oh, yes, of course. That's what I knew from my stay in Italy, that people really have another distance. And then I kind of felt a little bit sorry because I had always been moving away from her. And I only reacted as to my feeling. I didn't have it in my head that this is really the way how many people are in some of the, let's say, Mediterranean countries. And I also have to say that it's not valid for every person. And at the same time, for me, it's valid for many persons of a country. So, for example, for me at the beginning in France, it was really strange when people approached me and hugged me and gave me these small little kisses on each cheek, and I really didn't know what to do. And then I also learned that it's important, depending on the region, if you get 2 or 3 or 4 of these kisses. Yeah, and at the same time, it was also a nice experience. Another very nice experience in France for me was that we went out for lunch, and as I'm used to it from Germany, when we had finished lunch, in Germany, very often every person pays what he or she has consumed. And so I was already calculating when I had the glass of water and the quiche or whatever I had, and wanted to give this amount of money to the waiter. And the French people, and in hindsight, I really love it a lot, they took out their purses, and each person put an amount of franc at the table that they thought today that they could spend it. So it wasn't you had this and I had this. It was really one day when a person had more money, then he or she would give more, and maybe several days later she wouldn't have as much money as several days before, so she would give less money, and I liked it. And there was another thing that was kind of strange for me, because they were already drinking a glass of wine for lunch. And that's valid also for many business meetings that I've had. So in Germany, at lunchtime, we very often only serve some sandwiches with some mineral water and maybe orange juice. And in France, most of the business lunches I had, we went to a nice restaurant, we had a glass of wine, it was a 3-course meal. And yes, I enjoyed it a lot. And even the talks were different. In Germany, normally we stick to the business. We do not talk about family and feelings and so on. And in France, it was really, oh, are you married? How many children do you have? How do you feel today? I also got known to people on a much more private level. I also know that this sometimes gives some confusion, because if people are not used to it, they think, oh, so why are they asking me private questions? It's none of his or her business. But when I know it, then I can react in a different way. And then I can also appreciate it. We've already been talking about teams and how good it is to have a team with different team members. That's true also for members from different countries, because each and every member can contribute a different point of view. And with all these different points of view, you can really have a great result to your project or also to your business. And yeah, for me, it was also interesting to work with Asian people who were kind of, I would say, the contrary to French people. So I've been working with a lot of Japanese people, and yes, it was also different how they greeted me, and it wasn't so much about private conversation, and it was they were always very, very polite, and I also appreciated this. And in comparison to them, I had the impression that we as Germans are quite direct. So why am I telling you this? When I was experiencing a lot of this in my 20s, for me, it kind of felt a little bit, let's say, natural. I went into the country, or I met those business partners, and I kind of adapted, or I didn't think too much about it. I was kind of observing what do they do, and then I tried to do the same. Only later I learned that there are also some models as to different cultures, and I have to say that they also supported me. At the same time, I kind of I'm not the person who is always sticking to models. For me, they are a support in my head to kind of understand other cultures in another way. So what you can expect in the coming weeks is I will present some of the models that I get known to, and which also helped me a lot to already prepare me for working with people from other cultures. I really would love to know, what are your experiences, and what are maybe things where you are struggling with, or where you have difficulties with, like the one that I had with a Spanish student. And What is it that you want to know for your business so that I can give you an advice? Please let me know. Send me a message, leave a comment in the channels where you can see this video, or on LinkedIn, Facebook, or YouTube, or just book a strategic call so that I can support you with your questions in your daily business, because that's really what is very important to me, to support you in your business and to have more love and peace in companies. And that's also about understanding other cultures and to really respect them. One thing that was really interesting for me in one of my workshops, and the workshops, I always greet everybody and shake hands. And in one of the workshops, a man, he didn't hold up his hand. And I looked at him and I really didn't know what to say. And then he said, "Oh, please excuse me. In my culture, I'm only allowed to shake hands and to touch my wife and no other women." And I was happy that he told me. And so I really would love to hear what is your experience and what are maybe situations where you were astonished and at the same time relieved that you could talk about those cultural differences. I wish you a great day wherever you are, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing you next week. Have a great day.